Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News on Osbc TV. My name is Tajuddin Amodu. The Department of State Services (DSS) has officially confirmed that a section of the political class is planning for an interim government to truncate the smooth transition of power on May 29 from President Muhammadu Buhari to President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The DSS spokesman Peter Afunaya in a statement said the agency has uncovered plot by key political actors to install an interim government in the country as they identified some key players in the scheme but did not give names of the masterminds. The nation's intelligence organ said the planners of the interim government's plots had already held several meetings, during which they weighed many options to actualize their plan, including sponsoring endless mass protests across Nigerian cities. Afunaya stated that the DSS will not hesitate to take decisive and necessary legal steps against the misguided elements to frustrate their obnoxious intentions. He enjoined judicial authorities, media, and the civil society to be watchful and courteous to avoid being used as instruments to subvert peace and stability of the country. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has charged members of the expanded Partnership Committee on Sustainable Blue Economy in Nigeria to bring their wealth of knowledge to bear in the overall interests of the country. Osinbajo made the call at a meeting in Abuja where he reiterated that the sense of the committee is to develop a Nigerian version of the Sustainable Blue Economy concept with a view to having an all-inclusive policy document for the maritime sector in line with global best practices. Osinbajo, who is chairman of the committee, stated that the body can only achieve its goals if members work together and eschew self-interest and parochial sentiments. Represented by Minister of Transportation Muazu Jabi Sambo, he hinted that the concept of blue economy is all about the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, improved livelihood, and job creation. The Senate has set up an ad hoc committee to probe and recover over 6 trillion naira accruals from non-payment of ground rent from property owners across the country. The Senate resolution followed its consideration of a motion titled "Need to Recover Over 6 Trillion to the Federal Government that is lying fallow in the hands of few individuals in Nigeria," sponsored by Senator Yusuf Abubakar Yusuf. He said the Land Use Act has vested ownership rights to the federal government over its land in state and the Federal Capital Territory. He added that such rights include the power to control and regulate town planning and physical development in relation to such lands and, by extension, prescribing and collection of any tax, fee, or rates. The lawmaker recalled that since 1992, over 2 million houses across the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT, had been built and allocated to beneficiaries by the federal government, but he said majority had no evidence of payment of ground rent on their properties. Create a portal with a view to engaging re-engineering and reactivating capacity of older persons who wish to continue offering services after retirement. Director General of National Senior Citizen Center, Dr. Imem Omokaru, said this at a collaborative meeting with relevant government agencies and stakeholders on service level in Abuja. The meeting tagged NSCC Continue Engagement Bureau program is aimed at building a foundation of synergy between the center and its critical partners. Omokaru said the intervention is in realization of the huge potential in the older persons that could be tapped into national development. He further said that the aim of the collaboration is to assist the center to create an online portal that will engage older persons who are professionals in their different fields of endeavor to tap in their wealth of experiences. Omokaru pointed out that the federal government believes that older persons have a lot of talent and potential expertise and skills capable of incubating their experiences. The federal government has begun an online registration of medical laboratories in Nigeria to enhance service delivery. The registrar of the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria, Dr. Tosan Irabo, made this known in Abuja at a meeting with stakeholders and the agency consultants on automation led by Professor Effiong Akpan of the University of Calabar. He called on stakeholders to avail themselves of the great opportunities offered by the new framework to enhance service delivery. Irabo said that the registration will scale up efficiency, effectiveness, transparency, speed of service delivery, as well as data collation and management. He said that the purpose of the meeting was to enable stakeholders to witness firsthand and possibly critique the ongoing digitalization of the medical laboratory registration process. Osun State government and the United States of America have agreed to partner in combating the scourge of HIV/AIDS. This was agreed upon during a courtesy visit by the U.S. Consular General, Mr. Will Stevenson, to the Governor's Service. Governor's House correspondent Abdurrahim Adeklekun has more on the story.
The U.S. Consul General, Mr. Will Stevenson, was accompanied by members of the U.S. Consulate to Osun State for the launch of a program that seeks to achieve an equitable and sustainable HIV epidemic control in the state. The project, according to the Consul General, seeks to reduce HIV-related morbidity and mortality, reduce HIV incidence among populations, and to sustain the ability of state governments as well as the civil society organizations, CSOs, to lead and manage comprehensive HIV programs. Mr. Will said the United States is ready to collaborate with Osun State government for a more rapid development, saying Osun State is the only state he has visited twice. First, when the governor was contesting the July 2022 governorship election, and now.
We're here with all of these amazing doctors to talk about our health programs. And when we talk about our relationship with Nigeria, actually the area where we spend as a government the most money, where my bosses, the American taxpayers, spend the most money in Nigeria is on our health programs. And the most successful one of those programs, and the largest one of those programs, is called PEPFAR, the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. It is a program to combat HIV/AIDS, and we've been doing it in Nigeria for nearly 20 years. When I was coming here, I was like, oh, this is a big PEPFAR program. I wonder what it's going to be like. And I went and I asked people in Dr. Ali's office, what's it like? And they said, you're going to Nigeria, you're so lucky. It is the best PEPFAR program in the world. Wow.
Responding, Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke thanked the U.S. government for the support given to Nigeria and Osun State in particular towards the entrenchment of democratic ideals. The governor said the support given by the U.S. government during the last gubernatorial election in the state was largely responsible for the peaceful conduct of the poll that gave him victory. Senator Adeleke sought the support of the American government in areas of education, health, agriculture, and ICT, among others.
We appreciate the United States and lovers of democracy worldwide. We have transited to governance for the good of our people. I seek new collaboration with the United States government through our many development agencies. We are here today for the CD-funded HIV program. We are ready to own the program as a government. We, however, look forward to deeper partnership with the USA and CD across the sector, such as education, health, technology, infrastructure, among others. I call on the United States Embassy to partner with the Osun State government for the hosting of a conference of donor partners. The conference is to draw support for donor backing for the developmental agenda of our administration.
High point of the event was the exchange of gifts between Osun State government and the United States Consulate, where Senator Ademola Adeleke presented some Yoruba cultural items like talking drum, fila abeti aja, among others. It has been Abdurrahim Adeklekun reporting.
And now to sport, the Nigeria Football Federation says it will soon introduce a new method of appointing coaches for the national teams. NFF Secretary General Dr. Mohammed Sanusi disclosed this at the launch of Nigeria Super 8 football tournament in Lagos. This is coming on the heels of complaints by Nigerians on the failure of the national under-23 team in the race to Paris 2024 Olympic Games. And on the foreign scene, there is a heavy police presence in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, after the government banned opposition protests that are scheduled for today. Roadblocks have been mounted on roads leading to the State House, the president's official residence, as authorities have suspended train services in Nairobi ahead of expected demonstration. Protesters in the western town of Kisumu, Homa, and others already blocked roads with bonfires and rocks. Also, on the foreign scene, at least 28 people have been killed and 230 rescued after a passenger ferry caught in the fire in the Philippines. The blaze began in the ship air-conditioned cabin, but it is unclear how it began. Among the dead were at least 3 children, including a 6-month-old baby. And with that, we have come to the end of Midday News on Osbc. Join us at 3 for the state news. Good afternoon.
Azabiodi ni bolo tún bá kéré dákun kó látúndé ààrẹ mú àgbẹ̀ aláàfin ọ̀rọ̀.